Welcome to Legal Ed. This is Tamara Lewis. Legal Ed is my initiative to address the topic of global legal skills from both a teaching and learning perspective. Are you satisfied by the way your students cite materials in their essays, briefs, and papers? Or are they playing fast and loose with the citation rules? I know that with my students, this is one of the weaker points in their writing. Today I want to give some tips and some free resources for teaching legal citation. My goal is to give you tools to help your students become more methodical about legal citations. First, we will look at 3 reasons citations must be used in any legal writing. Then we will discuss 2 challenges that make legal citation in global contexts more difficult than in national settings. And finally, I will give you 3 steps for reinforcing good citation habits with students. At the close of this video, I give you a graphic organizer that you can use to help students properly cite in their written work. Students are often a bit reductionist in their thinking. For them, the only reason to use a legal citation is to avoid being charged with plagiarism. But plagiarism is really only one of the reasons we cite. We also cite to give credibility to our own ideas. This is an important point to emphasize. When we can show that other scholars and experts share our ideas, and that what we are writing about has been widely researched and communicated in literature, our own ideas can be more accepted in the legal community. We also cite because our readers need to find more information, including the context, exact location of the resources that we have consulted. Our citations help them find those resources and other related materials. Finally, of course, we want to avoid plagiarism, so we cite any and every idea we have borrowed from someone else. There are some challenges when teaching citation in international law. I want to highlight 2 of them here. Firstly, all citation systems come from national law jurisdictions. This is a fact that can pose problems. That is because when we ask students to use these citation systems, the formatting is adapted for the peculiarities of the national jurisdiction. They are often not adapted for international sources. These systems also do not dedicate space and time to the various types of international law sources that exist. It is only in recent years that citation systems have begun to consider how to treat sources for international courts and from UN agencies and bodies. There is no specific legal citation system for international law. A second challenge relates to the way that citation is treated in different jurisdictions. My own legal training came in the United States of America. As I began to work and interact with lawyers and academics from other jurisdictions, I noticed that there is a great variety of views on when you need to cite another person's work. This can be problematic for addressing citation with students in schools of international or regional law. While I do not have a definitive solution, I think it is better to err on the side of caution. As a result, I discourage my students from using one cite at the end of a paragraph to reference all of the materials and ideas that they borrowed in that paragraph. Instead, I require students to place a footnote at the end of each sentence where there is a borrowed idea and after every direct quotation. Here are 3 steps to take to reinforce good citation habits with students. Encourage students to gather their sources and consult relevant literature early in the research and writing process. Explain that it is a good practice to make a citation as soon as they are sure they will use the source either as an idea or as a direct quotation. Review the citation rules with the students on a regular basis, referring to the rule and reading to find the main elements of the citation. Reinforce those good citation habits by requiring proper citation and giving points in your grading model. For example, explain that citations will account for 5% of a grade. Tell students that if they continually use improper citations, they will receive a point deduction, 10 or 15 points for instance. And cover the rules and regulations from your university for plagiarism and give examples of plagiarized material and how it can be remedied to your students. I'm giving away this graphic organizer as a way to guide students through the citation process. I use this organizer when reviewing citations with students. I first ask them to identify their source and classify it as either a primary or secondary source. I also ask them to state whether it is electronic or print, and I require them to explain whether it's a book, legislation, journal article, case law, etc. Then I move on to finding the proper rule to apply. I ask students to look at the index in the citation system that they are using and find the rule that will be most useful. I ask them to go to the rule and to write down the main components of the rule. That is to say, does it require an author's name? Does it require titles of the work, the name of the journal, the page number, etc.? I then help the students build the citation by finding those elements in their own source. We look at both online and print sources so that students can have practice in both types of sources. This has been a presentation by Dr. Tamara Lewis of Legal Ed. If you would like to learn more about legal skills in global contexts, you can visit my website and blog at www.internationallegalskills.com. My e-textbook entitled Legal Skills in International Contexts contains a full chapter dedicated to legal citation using Ascola, a popular legal citation method for many European law schools.